Guys like Russell Maryland and Leon Lett. Okay. This is the Eagles.
Kelly Porter.
Eagles.
There it is.
Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith.
I totally. You're a mess. I can't hear you. I got totally kicked out, dude.
Throttle.
I got like kicked out. It said like reload. I said, what the hell? So, anyways, what's up, everybody? I think we're live. So, what am I doing? Wow, what a start. What a start that is. But yeah, man. Thank you everybody for joining the Philly Shakedown podcast. I guess there's no intro today because that was weird. I clicked on the intro and it just crashed and then it said reload. And then I had to hit reload and then it reloaded, but it kicked us out. So that was really
First
really
of all,
weird.
the first thing I want to say is everybody that's been supporting the podcast, everybody that supported us throughout the draft and was with us for those 3 days. Appreciate everybody that was joining, and talking to each other and kind of enjoying the moment with us and going through the moment with us. So we want to say thank you to everybody that was watching and, all of us having a good time. So I want to thank everybody for that.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And, especially the draft weekend it was insane. We appreciate everybody being here. Tyler Wallace is here. JJ Rock, what's going on? House Nelson, Tyler, Eagles Nation, Andrew, HTG, Chris Scott Savvy. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for being here. The Gift Gab. What's happening? Andrew Robinson. My man Maverick, he's mad I didn't stream any Sixers. I didn't get home. I haven't been getting home. Every Sixers game so far, I haven't gotten home till well into the third quarter. I can't do nothing about that. There's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Dude, I feel weird without our song playing. That's kind of weird.
Good play. I mean,
That's too late now. Gigi, what's good, man? Goes Joey 35. What's happening? So,
what's up, G?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were going to do it tonight, this stream or not, because I wasn't sure how many wives were at Joey's house, to be honest with you. So
that's the new thing now, I guess.
People are still talking about it on other streams. I see people in the chat talking about it. It's hilarious. House also said, did any of you take a break long enough from coddling Howie's balls to see the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie? I think that from what I heard, coddling the balls were better than the movie. No, I don't know if it was or not, but no, I didn't go see. I'm not gonna go see. I'm not. I probably maybe if my daughter wants to see it, I'll
heard it's good. Heard it's really good, actually. Yeah.
I just don't think the Marvel's been the same since after
the first
Endgame.
days.
To me, it's just it's just not the same. I thought the Spider-Man was really good. But everything else kind of has been ass to me.
True.
Leon says, you guys make Saturday night no lonely. Thank you. Oh, we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Sure, Leon.
So let's get into it, man. Let's start with the draft. We haven't talked or spoken. We haven't done a live stream since the day 3 of the draft, man. How do you feel a week out from the draft? How are you feeling?
I felt like we did pretty good. I mean, the first round was, the board was falling pretty nicely, and obviously we kind of went, we had on our stream of where we were going with the draft and what guys we had ranked higher on our board, and obviously trading up for Jalen Carter one spot, giving away a 4th round pick wasn't bad at all. I mean, obviously Jalen Carter was second on our board, and then kind of waiting a little bit to see what we do in the late first round, getting another defensive lineman. If we were to say we were getting 2 defensive linemen in this draft, I mean, I think we would never even thought that, and then, getting offensive line help, getting, another safety, and kind of, making some trades on the way too. I think it was an A+ draft. I think we got needs, and I think we got best player available in the first round, no doubt about it. I think it's been best player available throughout the whole entire draft, which I really did like. And I saw your apology video. I know you have a lot
I did it.
you had a
I've
lot to
done
say.
it.
Yeah.
I did it. I said I did it to the best of my ability. I was not going to apologize for being pissed off at certain picks, though. I just wasn't, But Howie, look, I think you're right. I thought it was an A+ draft. It still amazes me how the whole thing fell, because in a million years did I think like Bijan Robinson and some of these guys would go over Jalen Carter. I just can't believe he got to the point where we were able to get him. That to me was so insane, man. I just thought that was such a cool thing. And then I just really think that the day 3 of the draft, the way it started with Kaylee Ringo, it's Kylie. I always say it wrong. I know I'm going to get killed for it.
Disrespect.
Yeah, but I thought to start off the day like that, and then end up getting DeAndre Swift, man. I don't know how you could do any better of a job than what Howie he did. I just
really between getting low risk, high reward players, making moves in the offseason, and then like making trades for, we needed another running back. We figured they draft one or whatnot, but on that third day, the third day is a cruising type day. Like you sit there and just cruise and just see what the Eagles do. But the Eagles not only were making trades, they were getting picks for next year. They traded Tampa Bay one of their picks for a 5th rounder. They got the 5th rounder back from the Jonathan Gannon stuff that they gave away. And then, getting Keely Ringo was great. They aggressively moved up before the draft even started. They aggressively moved up and got him, which was like, holy crap, man, that was great. And then once the news came out about, I was on Twitter just randomly while we were just sitting there, and yeah, man, like DeAndre Swift is, he was one of our targets. There was after we were kind of saw the whole thing with Gibbs going like top, you got two running backs that went top 15 is just crazy. I think that that changed the draft, and even from what Swift even said, I think he was surprised by it. I think he was blindsided by it. I don't think he even knew that this was happening, but you could tell when they drafted Gibbs, they were like celebrating, they really were.
How offended, if you were DeAndre Swift, would you have felt in that moment? Like, seriously, like he had to look at that and go, I got to get the hell out of here, man. Carlos Rosado, thank you for the super chat. He goes, can we sign a petition to have a Howie statue in the Rob Van Dam pose? Yes. Just to let everyone know he's the man. A+ since off-season started. Yes, I'm with you on that. ASMR of everything. Remember, for 7 months, he goes, any reason, thank you for your support. He goes, any reason why 40 Winer's still complaining? No, but what's crazy about the 49ers thing is that it's the players. Like, the players complain almost as much, if not more, than the fans themselves. Like, what is Deebo Samuel still crying for? And then he said that Bradbury's trash. Bradbury had a pretty good year last year,
Yeah, I mean, we lost the Super Bowl, and these players didn't point fingers at nobody. I mean, they didn't point fingers at anybody,
They're still complaining. What a bunch of babies. JJ Rock Philly, welcome to Dingbat Nation, my man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, man. I appreciate it. Definitely. It means a lot. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I've said this, Joey, and I'll say this again. I believe that the DeAndre Swift move is the move that not only makes the Eagles like potential Super Bowl champions. I think it's going to be the move that makes us Super Bowl champions. Like, yeah, I think it was a big move.
Even some of the rumors on maybe an extension for Swift as well. There's been like that the Eagles would be up for it. I think it's going to be too early right now to get, to really give him one. I think they want to see how he does. Obviously, really, it comes down to health between Rashad Penny, between Swift. Like, these guys have got to stay healthy. They stay healthy. They have a nice little rotation in the backfield. I think it's going to go really well. I mean, Swift, I just love because he can cut on a dime. He's got really good vision. You can get him involved in the passing game. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. I think he's going to wreak havoc, man. I think he's going to.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely too. I think he gives you the element that your offense hasn't had even last year with the ability to catch out of the backfield. If you add that dimension into this offense, I mean, that's scary. I mean, that's a lot of what we were talking about. Like if you could get Bijan Robinson, you have somebody like that, and I think Swift gives you that. Linda, thank you for the super chat. Didn't say anything, but we appreciate it immensely. Thank you so much for your support. I see you wrote something here. Thank you so much. It says, you guys have to remember that the other 31 GMs pick to keep their jobs, and all Howie had to do was play his hand. Any other GM who did what he did would have been fired. Yeah, that's a great point. And that speaks really volumes of Jeffrey Lurie, because Lurie gives him the flexibility that he doesn't have to worry about, hey, my job is on the line, I better go this route. It gives him the luxury of taking chances. Great point.
Well, I think part of it too is value. I think value is the most important thing. And not only is he getting value, but he's making moves for next year. He's making moves for, like, if he's restructuring a contract or moving money around for Jordan Mailata, that's going to, get them paid another $7 million next year, another $7 million, save another $7 million the year after that. Like, he's doing so many things, not only working the comp pick formula has been so good, and because now you can actually trade comp picks now, which you can still now that rule wasn't there a long time ago where you can trade comp picks. So while getting those comp picks, you can use some of those draft capital to make aggressive moves moving up into the draft. And something definitely changed here. A 180 by Howie Roseman since really 2 years ago. I think Jeffrey Lurie backed off. I think Howie Roseman's not bumping heads. I think there's a nice collaborative effort with him and Nick, and it's been really good. So
I just think once he started drafting SEC and he started looking for, impactful players in the first round, when you think about impactful players and you're looking for guys with that upside, you tend to get away with some of the other type of picks he would make in the past. I don't think he's making anymore. And I think that's a big part of it. He's done a tremendous job. I give the guy a lot of credit. I really do, because he changed. He changed the way he did things. And now, I mean, I think he's been killing the drafts. Really, he's been killing it. And, it's interesting. James is at Yo500. Have you noticed that Sills is defending the Eagles a lot lately as if he had a change of heart? I think he actually was really surprised and impressed with Howie this offseason and the contract, and I think they're winning him over. That's what I think. You know
what too. Like, I watched you and Sills' thing. I actually watched it the other day, and I was really kind of touched because, number one, I wasn't alive when Jerome Brown was playing, but it was to a point where just how Sills really liked Jalen Carter and the attitude that he sees in him, and wearing Jerome Brown's college number, and that reminds him of him. And obviously guys that have off the field issues are guys that have like a screw loose at times, and it's not necessarily mean they're going to be bad players. Like, these guys, there's a lot of players in the league that have done some stuff off the field. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to fail in the NFL. I mean, the Eagles have done their research probably for months on Jalen Carter, and they know a lot more than we do. But I watched both you guys talking about him, and it made a lot of sense. And if he sees something in him, then that's a good thing, man.
He said he said that, and he played with Jerome Brown for 3 years in Miami, right next to him. He said that as long as he's been doing media stuff, he has never said anybody reminded him of Jerome Brown. This is the first kid. And to me, that's the highest praise you can get, because Jerome Brown didn't play long enough. But to me, watching him, you could take Fletcher Cox, you could take all the good players we've had. I don't think there's been a defensive tackle as good as him since. He would have been one of the best to ever play. He was better than Warren Sapp. He was better than all those guys. It just, he lost his life early. So I take that as high praise for Jalen Carter. It excites me about getting Carter,
Yeah.
JJ Rock Philly, thank you for super chat. He goes, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, Kaylee Ringo, all in Kelly Green. I know. And how about our boy DeAndre Swift wearing 0. Agent 0, baby.
I was surprised, to be honest.
I love it. I love it. Did you see that? And I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know. But people are saying that he said it because he picked 0 because that's how many championships or championship games the Cowboys have been in his lifetime.
I think that was fake news. I don't think it was
that
real.
fake news, but I wish it was real. I know. I saw Mark Holmes had to do a video on it. Mark Holmes is literally freaking out about the Eagles. Like he did like 4 videos in a row about the Eagles because the Eagles are right now on paper. I think they have the best roster in the NFL.
Definitely, 100%.
You know, Vinny, thank you for super chat. He goes, rank these annoying fan bases in order, starting with the worst. Over the period of time, I'm gonna have to say Dallas first. Man, San Francisco has to be second right now.
It really has to be.
Yeah, and then I'll say the Giants. Although I have a weird respect for their fan base because I think we're very similar. And then Minnesota. Minnesota's just and Washington. Yeah. But I still got to go Dallas. And if we throw out other sports, then I have to put the Boston
I think the Giant fans got worse. I think once we got into that divisional game with them, I think they started to come out a little bit. They're really thinking that they're going to beat us. But
yeah. Anybody else hate Boston? Oh, Boston. I hate the Boston Celtics. My 3 most hated teams in sports are Dallas, the Celtics, and the Giants. Probably in that order. Yeah. Joey Wheeler says, I think Milton Williams is underrated and will probably have the most sacks as a defensive tackle this season for the Eagles. Huh. You think he's gonna I will still bet Fletcher Cox has him. Well, Fletcher Cox had 7.5 last year, right?
Yeah.
I still think Fletcher probably has it, but we'll see.
You know what? Interesting. Like that Moro Jomo they got in the 7th round. I did some research on him. He was supposed to be drafted a lot higher than expected. I mean, he's got a really good first quick step. He stays balanced. I mean, he gets in the backfield really nicely. It's just really a consistent pass rush he doesn't have, but the guy is quick and the guy can be disruptive like crazy. Should have been I think like a middle 5th round pick. Should have been like a lot earlier.
Right.
A defensive tackle, I think it's great. And obviously drafting another one in the 7th was good too. So Milton Williams is interesting too. So we'll see. We'll see.
What do you think? Mojo definitely, that guy definitely interests me. You know, I think that sounds like it could be a total steal for us. What are your thoughts on Sidney Brown? Because I look at Sidney Brown, I think that was such a great pick, and I look at all the players, all the rookies, and I wonder if he has a legitimate. And I think Jalen Carter has a legitimate too, but I think Sidney Brown has an opportunity to win a starting job in training camp.
Yeah, he I think for his conference he was like 3rd best in coverage as a safety. Number 2. With all these teams, all the scouts that go out and see these players, they mark one player out of all the people they've scouted as a red star player. The Eagles marked Sidney Brown as a red star player, which means he's got high IQ, leadership quality. I think studying the game, studying his opponents. They think really highly of him. When you look at the safety room right now, I mean, even with Terrell Edmonds in there, Reed Blankenship needs more competition. They got Justin Evans as a veteran that's been hurt every single year. Kevon Wallace, could be kicked out of this group sooner or later. Keely Ringo's going to get a shot. I mean, I think potentially this guy could start. I think he could definitely start, no doubt.
Yeah. Let's see here. ASMR, me of everything. Thank you for super chat. Remember Philly? It's Dan Arnold. Not. Oh my god, dude. I don't know. That when they signed Dan Arnold, I was like, get ready to go back to work, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a quick video. So I did this video on it. Right, run back to work, was editing it, get ready to upload it, and I realized the whole video I called him Tom Arnold instead of Dan Arnold.
I've done that before.
And it wasn't like I did it one time. Like if I did it one time in a video, I would have been like, all right, cool. but I called him Tom Arnold the whole video, so I couldn't post the video. What a waste!
Weird.
I probably should upload it to my channel members as one of my
he's really interesting because the Eagles didn't draft a tight end. I mean, I think they brought in. I don't even know if I even looked at the list that McMullen put out. I don't know if they even brought in another tight end for tryout. But Arnold's he's been. I think he was with Jacksonville for a few years. I think only had 130 something yards last year, but I think the year before they had like over 400 yards. I mean, he's a vet. I mean, he's 26, 25, 26, I think.
I don't know how he's.
So that could shake up a little bit. He's got a lot of experience as a starter too. So
he was with Arizona, he was with Jacksonville, and I want to say New Orleans. I think it was New Orleans. So he'll be interesting to see if he can win that second tight end job. I mean, I like Calcaterra though. I'm really hoping we get a big step from him. And I know everybody's down on Tyree Jackson. Like I know they're like he's done.
Yeah, they're done.
But I think you got to give him this training camp because he was hurt. He was come back from an injury. So I am going to give him an opportunity this camp. But if he don't do anything, if he doesn't do something to change it, forget about it. You know what I mean?
True.
Linda says Tyler Steen will be starting. You better dig deeper. I think that's very possible too. Steen could fight for that right guard job. It's quite possible. Yeah.
I mean, over I think it was over 750, 760 pass blocking attempts, only giving up 2 sacks. I mean, that's just insane. He was the blind side for Bryce Young. He was at left tackle. So could play left tackle, can play right tackle, and he has the physicality to play right guard. So Nick Sirianni did say that there will be competition at that position. He didn't necessarily say Cam Jurgens is competing for that job, or that's where we don't even know if they want him at right guard right now. We have no idea, but we're going to find out though. But I think he's going to make the roster. We'll get into the undrafted free agents later. But I think he will definitely he's definitely going to make it. And, I think there's a good chance he might start at right guard if he shows out.
I mean, that would be great. I mean, the one thing is you got Stoutland, and with Stoutland, he has the ability to develop these guys like nobody else. Ohana says, what do you guys think will happen with Trey Sermon? If you all don't recall, Nick brought him up and spoke high of him at the owners' meeting. I took nothing out of them speaking high of him because they do that with any player on their roster. They're always going to tell you that they're really good at the position they have. But if we had this opportunity for DeAndre Swift, they knew they needed a running back. I think Trey Sermon most likely is the odd man out right now. I don't see how Sermon makes this team. I can't see them cutting Boston Scott.
No,
I know they're not cutting Gainwell, and maybe would they cut Penny? Would they cut Penny? I don't think they would. I mean, you never know, but they're not paying him any money. Why cut him? So I think Sermon's the odd man out. But what if Sermon goes in there and killed it in preseason, right? And you're like, okay, he wins a job. You might have to cut Penny before you cut Boston Scott.
Yeah, kills it in what? Preseason games? You talking joint practice?
Like in training camp and preseason, just the whole camp. He clearly has been one of the, let's say, the second best running back. Who they cut?
I don't know. I don't think the Eagles are going into this thinking that even if Sermon does well, that they'll even keep. I don't know. I don't know, bro.
So you're saying that he could outplay him, and they're done. They've already made the decision.
I mean, outplay him is one thing, but the problem is, you're not going to be using Penny. They're not going to run the crap out of them in preseason games and join. They're probably not going to be. They're probably not going to, put them in so much either. I gotta. You know what I mean? They already don't have these other. They're not doing these mandatory workout practices like these other teams have been doing. The Eagles, one of 2 teams, don't do that. They've been doing it the past couple years. So
and I'm not going to complain about it. I usually complain about it every year. I've complained about it last year and the year before and the preseason, but it seems like
we said last offseason, Jalen Hurts needs more work. You can't put him in for a series. Plus you cut down the preseason games from 4 to 2 now. So it's and then we went to that first game. We're like, okay, I guess he's all right.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Marco, thank you for super chat. Goes, yo, Philly and Shakes, you all gonna go to a game this year? I have no idea. I have zero idea right now. To me, it always depends if I'm gonna go back east around Thanksgiving or Christmas. If I'm gonna go visit family, then I'll do it. I haven't done that in like 6-7 years though. So if I do it, then I will. But me and Joey, we gotta plan something out. Maybe, maybe if everything went well at the end of the year, I could do something. I mean, we'll just have to see. But I definitely want to at some point,
Definitely, 100%.
And thank you for the super chat. Jolo says 500 and Joey. Besides Carter, who is your favorite pick? Mine was a safety from Illinois. So he likes Sidney Brown. Who is your second favorite pick besides the Carter pick?
Second favorite pick. I mean, I really like Nolan Smith because of the value we got him at.
Yeah.
And this is interesting too. So we haven't, Sean Desai, we haven't really, nothing's really happened yet. I mean, we don't even know what's going on. Like we haven't got an interview yet still. Saw him at practice. He's very vocal. I mean, the players really like him. That's good. Nolan Smith, I feel like from what even Nolan Smith at his press conference the other day and like disguising defenses, I feel like they're going to, not saying they're not going to use him as an edge rusher. I feel like they're going to do a little bit more with him. I feel like they want to put him in coverage. I think they want to spread him out a little bit because he's got that speed, man. He could run around. I don't know what you think of that, but
no, I Nolan Smith. I would say probably Nolan Smith too. But I'm going to give you another name. I'm going to say Ringo. And the reason is because of just the values. I mean, we're talking about a guy that should have been there in the second round that they felt so strongly enough about that they had to move up to get him. So I think Ringo possesses a lot of potential upside. And if he's going to stay at corner and you just let him learn behind Bradbury and Slade for a few years, that is an amazing group of corners to learn behind. And then, I also think that he's a guy that could potentially be moved to a safety at some point. So I like the Ringo pick.
But Philly, did he really move? Did he really move down because of a concussion and like a dislocated shoulder injury?
That's what they said. Yeah,
that's
what people said. Yeah, wow. I mean, to me, a shoulder injury, whatever. I don't care about that. Like if it's not an Achilles or a knee, So that's what they said. I mean, dude, by all accounts, this guy was a second round pick.
Right.
And he was there. I was a steal.
True.
It was really more. And I really liked the offensive lineman from Alabama, the Steen pick. I love that.
Amazing.
Taking an offensive line from Alabama and you're letting him learn with Stoutland. And when you read about that kid and the things that he needs to improve on, it's not a lack of talent or ability. It's a mechanics. He needs some more strength. These are all the things that Stoutland is very good at dealing with, So, dude, they just killed it. They killed this draft. This is going to be, I swear, in like 2 or 3 years, we're going to look back at this draft, maybe even longer, and go, this was the draft. Like I said during the draft, like I was like, we're saying, welcome to the Eagles' golden years. I believe we are now in a window of time where the Eagles will be dominant for years and years to come. I believe we're in our golden years.
True. I believe it.
Linda says, go watch a tape of Ringo defending Devontae Smith. I don't know how he dropped that low. I don't either. I don't understand it. Now, I mean, when I was reading like scouting reports and people's take on Ringo, the only thing that ever came up was the fact that some GMs thought that he would be a better safety in the NFL than he would be a corner. But still, is that a reason that he would drop? It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, dude. I just think they killed it. I don't know what the hell Howie's eating. I don't know, dude. I don't know if he's doing the JoeyShakes and just banging neighborhood wives or what the hell's going on. But the dude is just heading on. He's on like a roll, dude. It's like a just think of like a famous rock group. and they just get on a roll and they put out like a classic album, and like every song is good. That's Howie Roseman right now. He's on a roll because everything he does, he's just killing it. Is this moron still here? Giants love this dude makes a 1,000
million
accounts
accounts. I know.
and something love I love my mom, I love my dad. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, and he just gets blocked in like 5 minutes. Like, why waste the time? Like, go read a book. Go work on your math. I'm sure you need to do algebra. Go read a science book. Go read history. Stop making stupid accounts. I'm sorry. I had to say that.
I get it. See, I was seeing it earlier. I was going to say something, but I was like, maybe
I just noticed it. I noticed something earlier, but that was it. Guy's crazy. Tortiville says, I think the Eagles now have a lot of possible safety solutions. Ringo might be better at safety. I think McPherson might be better at safety. Now we have Brown, Edmonds, also Joby might be better at safety. And you got, and I keep forgetting that we added Greedy Williams.
Oh,
I keep forgetting about him. And then you got the kid Evans, right? That they added. So I think they're going to be okay at safety. I think that they've brought enough people in that two guys will stick. We'll figure it out.
Now, linebacker, right? So Eagles making another move. Is it enough? Is it not enough? We've heard the fifth-year options are taken away from Patrick Queen, Isaiah Simmons. You got Devin White out there. It's been rumored. So do you think the Eagles make one? You think if they make one more move at linebacker, you think this defense is pretty much complete at this point?
Well, we need to talk about what kind of linebacker we're talking about. We're talking about not an edge rusher because some people will say like Hassan Reddick, well, he's a linebacker, but he's really more. You want to use him more as an edge rusher, like an off the ball type linebacker. I think that they still could use one person. I think they still, if they have the opportunity to upgrade it, I think they should try. But I'm also comfortable with Morrow and Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, same.
I'm comfortable, but if you have the opportunity, like Simmons really intrigues me because we know he has such a high ceiling, and then Queen I think would fit right in. So, I'm open to either of those guys, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if they're willing to give, a draft pick for next year or whatnot and to get somebody out of there, then that's great. I mean, Nicholas Morrow is like a low-risk, high-reward signing. I think he was with obviously the Bears were one of the worst teams last year. So, I mean, against the run, they were horrible. He had over 116 tackles for the year, but a lot of people were saying he was too slow. I mean, I think he is a nice downhill runner as well. I think he shoots the gap real nicely. He blitzes really well. And he can pass coverage, and he's got good pass coverage as well. So he's a nice balance. So, because really behind those two, Davion Taylor, Kyron Johnson, that, we thought he would be more of an edge rusher. They really just kept him outside linebacker, got hurt. Patrick Johnson is like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that one more body would really help. Yeah,
I think if you could get one more, do it. If a situation with like Queen comes up and you could do it, do it. But I think they'll be okay whether they do it or not. But I do agree. I do think Nakobe. I'm very excited to watch Nakobe Dean because I feel like Nakobe Dean, he could just be the guy we think he is. And it'll be great. Parlay says Ringo is suspecting coverage. Yeah, I mean that's why some people I think maybe talk about him being a better safety than a corner in this league. But when you look at the Eagles taking him and the value that they took him, you had to do it. It was a great move,
Yeah.
Yeah. Which King says I want to see Sidney Brown and Blanken. Blanken. That would be great. I really think that Sidney Brown, he's got to be excited because he legitimately could wind up winning the job. I think if you take all the rookies that we have and you say who's going to start, I think him and Jalen Carter are the two most likely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It really is. It is, and it's just like if you were a safety getting drafted, or you're a free agent, like the Eagles is a place to go because there's open competition.
True. True.
Philly D says, why does Baltimore want to get rid of Queen? Because they're not going to sign him next year. He's a free agent after this year, so he's in the last year of his contract. So they would try to get something for him now while they can. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and the rumor is that they are making calls about him. So we'll see.
And I don't think the linebackers really have a market right now. I don't think anybody really got signed to like big money this past offseason. I don't think there's really I think that anyone's really set a high market for linebackers this year, money wise. So
nope. Joe says, what jerseys are you getting? Tough choices. Without question, my first jersey is a Devontae Smith jersey. Kelly Green, Devontae Smith. Now, I will say, if Swift signs a multi-year extension, I will totally get myself
rock that zero.
I would do it in a second. However, I don't know if they're going to have more than 1 year, So it's going to be interesting. Now, one thing I want to talk about, we talked about the draft. I mean, is there any players that were picked that we want to talk a little more about? Let me ask you something about Nolan Smith. So you think they're going to be looking for ways to get him on the field because of his skill level?
Yes, I do.
Because it could be pretty nasty if you put him opposite of Hassan Reddick. And you can bring, you can make it so you don't know which guy's coming and which guy's not. Like, there's so much that they can do with that. You know what I mean?
What's the best way to, like, we know when every draft, every first round pick is always compared to a player, and the guy that he's compared with is on the same team. What he can learn from these guys, and obviously put more, tools in his toolbox, and just being more of a jack of all trades type defensive end, can learn more moves, can really. Could do so much more with him. I feel like he could do a lot more than be an edge rusher, and I think that Desai wants to do. I feel like there's just a little bit more with him. They want to do more. I don't know. I get that feeling.
If it's me, I go to Nolan Smith and I say, Nolan Smith, this is Hassan Reddick. Where he goes, you go. When he pisses, you piss. When he eats, you eat. When he sleeps, you sleep. When he takes on different wives in the neighborhood, you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would have him follow Hassan Reddick everywhere, man.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think the Nolan Smith thing is crazy to me. That's just such a crazy situation because people wanted him at 10. I thought 10 was too early, but I thought he'd go around like 20. The fact that he was there at 30 was insane.
Every news out, whether it's CBS, whether it's like, and they all talked about before the draft, like, oh, if the Eagles get Nolan Smith or Jalen Carter at 10, they'll be good. And I'm sitting here like, I guess everyone thinks that Nolan Smith was a top 10 pick this year. I don't know. Everyone on TV were saying Nolan Smith at 10. You know what I mean? Like, I guess maybe we're not looking at him, value wise enough as everyone. Maybe they have him a lot higher than us. I don't know. Like, yeah,
I mean, it was, definitely thought, this guy's a good player, no doubt about it. But like 10, I wasn't sure about that. Like, I felt like, and I think Howie had the same philosophy. Like, you needed it at 10, a player that is like immediate impact player. And to me, there was only like 4 guys. It was Anderson Jr., Jalen Carter, Bijan, and Paris Johnson Jr. Like, to me, it had to be one of those 4 guys, Yeah,
true.
But, to get him at 30, that becomes like an insane value,
Yeah.
I mean,
to get away with both of them is just.
I would have put Nolan Smith top 15. And I would have said, you take him between 15, 25. Like, that's where I thought he would go.
They were contemplating on trading that pick back. Like, they were actually contemplating on it. They were like, you know what? Let's not get cute. Like, I think when they were making the pick, I was more shocked about it because I was like, I was talking to, when we were looking at the video of them talking, I was like, oh my God, they actually selected, like, they're actually going to draft a player here. Like, I thought they were at least going to explore a trade back in, maybe maybe a team with aggressive want to come up and get a quarterback. I don't know, but man, I was happy. I was so happy.
I think they saw he was on the board and they're like, wait, pinch me. Is this real? Oh, we got to forget trading. We got to take this. Yeah. I mean, it was such a great pick, dude, because in 3-4 years, he could be the Hassan Reddick on this team. And if you listen to Nolan Smith, man, he's a natural leader. He's a really good locker room guy. You can tell. Nolan Smith is going to be a great fit. And I think, we were talking about Carter earlier and things he has to learn. I don't think there's a better roster for him to go to than the Eagles. Now you go to the Eagles, he has all his former players, plus you got role models like Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Kelsey. So I just think
it's
wow.
even when Keely Ringo had his press conference after the draft, like getting these Georgia players and like getting them from a school that has like a culture. And I know every college has a culture, but they have like almost like what the Eagles have. Like it's that dog mentality. It's they hold to a certain standard. Like these players are just different breeds. Like but now they're playing with each other. I mean, it's just
pause.
It's amazing, man. Like I'm shocked at how many Georgia players
they got. They're winners. They know how to win. You got guys that are coming in they won national championships. They know how to win. I mean, just think about it. The Eagles, we're talking about Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Ringo. We're talking about Steen and Sidney Brown. The Cowboys are talking about Vince Vaughn. They drafted Vince Vaughn. And that was their big pick.
Bro,
Vince Vaughn.
We
5'3".
We sat in the damn live stream as soon as they picked Vince Vaughn. Because you call him Vince Vaughn. That's why I'm saying Vince Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn, whatever. And they just attacked the chat. I mean, they were rolling into the chat as soon as that happened. I couldn't even. You're out of a late round running back. I mean, seriously, like. That's what you're hyping up the whole entire draft.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Now, one thing I want to definitely talk about is what do you think? I mean, it's bad enough that you go and you rock the whole draft, but the undrafted free agents that the Eagles signed, I mean, dude, it's unbelievable. What about? I mean, we got a punt, Legatron. I mean, how can you not want a guy on your team named Legatron? Do you have it happen? And I don't have it near me. I'm going to look.
I have everything in front of me.
The undrafted free agent list.
Yeah.
Read those players off if you don't mind.
All right. So I'll start with the number. I'll start with the guy that got paid the highest. So the Eagles, obviously, every team always wants to pay like the highest undrafted free agent that has promise. Joseph Nagata, wide receiver from Clemson. They got the wide receiver that went to Arkansas and Oklahoma, Jaden Hazelwood. Eli Ricks, the cornerback from Alabama. You got Legatron. He was a kicker and a punter. Ben Van Simmeren from Michigan State, linebacker, freak athlete.
That is the one I want to talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about him.
Mekhi Gardner, a cornerback from LSU. Trevor Reed, offensive tackle from Louisville. And Brady Russell, tight end from Colorado.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's some interesting names. Obviously, the punter it was really good. The Eli Ricks was the one that surprised me the most. That was the most notable name, I think.
Eli Ricks. He was an LSU transfer to Alabama. And he didn't give up a touchdown last year, but he's been dealing with a lot of injuries the past couple of years. 21 inch too, so he definitely moved down in the draft. What is the one that was like, boom, like I like this? What was the one?
The linebacker. The linebacker.
Really?
Yeah. Because when you read about him, and he was, I believe he was a fullback. He started as a fullback, moved over to linebacker, and you look at his athletic ability. He's an absolute monster freak athlete. And to me, if you're going to bring in an undrafted free agent, bring in a guy who is an athletic freak. And then you bring a guy who really, I think a lot of it with him at linebacker is he needs to learn how to play the position and develop. But it sounds like he has all the upside. And when you watch this kid, man, dude, he blows things up. Like, he is naturally talented. And now you're bringing in a guy that's just raw as an undrafted, and you're going to get to develop him. I think he could be a steal.
Yeah, he was a freak athlete. I mean, really, he has all the tools. It's just like the coaching aspect is where we're going to see if this guy, I mean, he's 6'3", 237.
Right. 237, and he had, I think he was the second fastest. He would have been the second fastest linebacker at the combine. He had I think a ridiculous bench, ridiculous vertical, and if you just watch him, right, like there are plays where when he just reacts, you can't stop him. This kid learns how to play the position and develops, and then starts to be able to take what he learns and incorporate with his athletic ability and his instincts. We may get a huge find here. I like this pickup as much, and you'll know this, as much as I like the Trey Edwards when they got Edwards. Remember how high I was on Edwards when they brought him in as an undrafted free agent?
Yeah. Jim never used him. Jim barely used him.
And I'm just as high on this kid.
So, yeah, Van Simmeren, it was a 42.5 vertical leap. That's insane. 29 bench reps, 10-11 broad jump.
Yeah.
He was in the 440. He was in the 4.4s. He would have been the second fastest time, which is crazy.
And he's 240 pounds almost. I mean, I think, from everything that I was reading about him, he transferred. I think he was at Michigan. He went to Michigan State, and I think he was a fullback there. He was a running back, and he transferred. So, I think, to me, it sounds like he has the ability. He just got to develop it and learn the position.
Now, the one that I was interested in, necessarily.
I got it.
Oh, go ahead.
Look at this. You was really high on Bijan. I'm still really high on Bijan. Bijan is going to be a good player. What are you talking about? You peoples. All right, sorry, I had to say.
No, you're good. So Trevor Reed from Louisville, offensive lineman, offensive tackle, 6'5", 307. Only a 2-year starter, okay, but 12 appearances, 11 starts. Now 628 total snaps at left tackle. Only allowed 3 sacks, 2 QB hits, and 8 hurries, and 314 pass block snaps.
Huh.
I mean, it's somebody that could. I think he's. I don't know if he plays on any other position. He's strictly a left tackle, which Dillard's gone now. This could be your replacement. This guy could make the team as well. I think you can keep Steen, and I think there's a big chance they keep Trevor Reed as well. Yeah. That would be mine as of right now. But another question: wide receiver is interesting. They brought in some big receivers, receivers that either they were very high on and obviously didn't get drafted. That's why they're undrafted free agents. But receivers that have played with Jalen Hurts in the past,
right?
2.
They brought in 2. Was it 2 or 1?
They brought in 2.
Okay.
Jaden Hasselwood played with Arkansas, then went to Oklahoma. I think 3 touchdowns, 59 catches, 702 yards for Arkansas last season. 6'2", 215. Joseph Nagata, obviously Joseph Nagata, obviously the highest paid. He got $230,000, $230,000. They did this. Usually paying the highest undrafted free agents doesn't mean a damn thing at all. They paid Maro Goodrich the most money last year, didn't do anything. They paid Jack Stahl the most money the year before, and he worked out. So it's a hit or miss with some of these players. But now with Quez Watkins, Zacchaeus, Joseph Nagata, Jaden Hazelwood, you have Greg Ward, I think, on the, Greg Ward in the lineup still. Some of these other guys, what do you think with this wide receiver 3 position, especially with these other receivers coming in? Because I watched some Jaden Hazelwood tape. I actually really like him. I think really everyone's starting to question with him is really his speed. His speed's very questionable on the NFL level. But Jaden Hazelwood's got some really good hands. I think Joseph Nagata that they paid too. He's got really good hands.
He's the only one I've watched so far. I actually did a Philly React to him for my channel. He's the only one I've watched a little bit so far, and I think he's got a lot of upside, man. I think he's got potential. I haven't seen enough of the other guys to tell you do they really have a chance or not. I don't know yet. Yeah, I think Nagata does.
Yeah, even bringing in Charleston Rambo, that was another guy who played with Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma as well. He's coming from the XFL for a tryout. And here's a question I have of how they're going to use these cornerbacks and what I think Sean Desai is going to do. look at all the corners they've signed. Okay, they've signed some big corners. Okay, Ellie Rick 6'2", 188. Mecky Gardner 6'2", 212. Chris Steele that's coming in for a tryout. He's like 6'1", 181. I mean, they're bringing in. Why are they bringing in these big physical cornerbacks? Are they going to be more physical with these corners this year? That's where I kind of question it with why they want these bigger type corners.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's a great question, but I think that they kind of started. Didn't they kind of start doing that the year before that? With the other guys. Remember the two guys they brought in? I don't know why their names slip in my mind from last year. Undrafted free agents, Alabama and stuff. I think they were pretty big too, weren't they? Weren't they?
Job and
yeah.
Who else? I forgot the other.
I forget the guy's. I forget his name, but I mean, I think those guys were kind of big too. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Desai. I'm assuming we're going to be very similar, scheme wise. I'm just hoping we're a little more aggressive. Maybe they want to play a little more man to man. I don't know. But it is interesting.
So I think the depth at receiver might take a turn. It actually might look a little bit different. I don't know. It's really early, but obviously we're just speculating. I think the Eagles will actually keep 7 receivers this year. I think.
Wow, 7.
I think they might keep 7.
Can any of them do kick returns or punts?
Oh, that's another thing too. The other guy they brought in for a tryout was Jaden Hall from Western Kentucky. He's apparently. I put information out about him. I don't have it in front of me, but he was a big special teamer for
special teams guy. Yeah, he was one of the guys that I wanted to I have not looked at yet. So, I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I think they're set at receiver. I don't think they're going to do anything else. You never know. Like if an opportunity presents itself, but I mean, I think we're kind of set at receiver. I don't know if we're set at special teams I don't know if we have a returner yet, though. I'm not sold on Covey.
Yeah, it's a weird one because Covey is just he's too raw right now, and they never really gave anybody another chance. Devin Allen might not even make the I don't know. Devin Allen might not even make the roster. He might not. With Zacchaeus being in there now, and if one of these other receivers, between Hazelwood or Nagata or someone else kind of shows up, I think he could be the odd man out. They obviously don't value Greg Ward. I think Doug valued Greg Ward more. I don't think Nick really cares about Greg Ward as much. I think there's some really good competition going in the camp with a lot of positions at safety. Obviously, running back would be pretty cool because, to see what Kenny Brooks can do, to see what, maybe Trey Sermon kind of turns up a little bit. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. It will be interesting. Now, Legatron, he was a punter and a field goal kicker, wasn't he?
11 out of 11 field goals last year.
See, that would be great if you could find a kicker who could do both, and then you get that extra roster spot. But I mean, we're set with Elliott, obviously, as a field goal kicker. But I'm hoping Legatron wins the job, dude. We need to upgrade that punter.
If Sipos wins the job, they're just playing favorites, or Michael Clay's just playing favorites at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, crash test Covey. Yeah, it's crashed. Man, I never seen a guy run into the wall of defenders, dude.
Standing up.
It's like he's running to his right and he's going to his left. It's just the crazy.
It looked like Gardner Minshew on a QB. Remember Gardner Minshew on that QB sneak, and he he literally stood up, just going in the pile, and he got.
Oh my gosh,
that's what it looked like.
I know, it's crazy. Like this dude, like testing new helmets out or something. We need to test our Kelly Green helmets. Get crash test Covey. Run into a wall. My God, man. I feel like it scares me. Like I'm like, this guy's going to get blasted into next week at some point, Yeah. So we got over 500 people in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. If you're new to the channel, hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. Click the link in the description. Go sub up Joey. If you're on my channel, definitely. And thank you guys so much for being here. We definitely appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. 500. Let's trade for Cordell Patterson, a legit return guy. I would love to. I mean, but would they do it? That's the question.
Yeah.
You know. Linda says, somebody tell Mark Holmes to stop spamming. That guy did literally like 4 of his last 5 videos are about the Eagles. Like he is flipping out about the Eagles.
Crazy.
Joe says, can't wait to see the schedule. Going to be tough, but we don't want it any other way. Shut the haters up about week schedule. Yeah, we so the schedule should come out. It's coming out next week, right? This coming week.
The 8th or 9th, I think, comes out.
Is it the 8th? Usually they come out on Tuesday. Usually it's a Tuesday release. So what day is a Tuesday? The 9th?
I think so.
But I'm here. I heard the 11th. Now, there's one weird thing about this. Apparently they're going to have talking about having a Black Friday game. You know, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the shopping day. I don't want that, dude. I don't want a football game on Friday. I don't want a football game the day after Thanksgiving. But there's rumors that it's the Eagles and the Giants on that game.
As long as they don't have one on Christmas Eve, I'm good because they
really
are.
We are screwed.
I hate that.
Let me go to this. Because I'm already looking into Christmas
rumors.
Time. Christmas Eve is guess what day?
Oh no.
Sunday.
Oh,
Christmas Day is Monday. Yeah. So they're going to be going all day long Christmas Eve. What they should do is they should just play every game on Saturday. Like it's a Sunday, you know. I hated.
At least for you, you have a game early. At least for you, you can enjoy the rest of your day. Well, depending on what time it is, it's probably gonna be a middle afternoon game, probably most likely. And my whole day is shot. My whole day is gonna be shot.
Josh Siegel, David Super J goes, what do you think the starting defensive line is? I'm gonna say you're gonna have. I think it's gonna be Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter in the middle, and then it's gonna be Sweat and Brandon Graham. That's what I think that the starting lineup is gonna be. I really think Jordan Davis will rotate in. You know what I mean? Now, have you seen Jordan Davis? The picture of Jordan Davis?
I have not.
Okay, I gotta send you this. Let me see here. Or maybe I could put it up
here.
Is
it a good thing or a bad thing?
You'll see.
All right.
All right. Just think. It's you know, and by the way, how's the Joey Makes Me Shakes going?
Bro, delete that. Delete it.
I am never getting rid of that.
Delete that.
Never. That is the great Joey Makes Me Shakes merchandise. Top seller. I saw they were busting our balls about the Draft 5 hats. I'm wearing my Draft 5 hat. People said, "Who's 5?" I said, "This is Kylie Ringo." What are you talking about?
Kylie Ringo.
Oh, let me find this. Hold on. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay. So let me upload this. You got to see this picture. There's a picture right after the draft, and it's of Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Jordan Davis at the NovaCare. Like I think it was the Friday when they came to visit.
Okay.
Right? Unbelievable, dude. Whoops, wrong one. God, our draft really got crazy. All right,
it did.
Here it is. Here it is. There you go. Jordan Davis is in the middle. He looks 25 pounds lighter, Joey.
Wow.
He looks like he's lost a lot of weight.
You think
Doesn't
he's
he look thin?
Like you think he's like in the lower 320s?
I think low 330s to 320s, dude. I mean, look at him. He looks thin. He looks thinned out, dude. That's a great sign, dude. You know, that's a great sign because if he's in shape and he can play, it's going to be nasty, you know. So it's going to be interesting. But that's a big deal, you know. Yeah, Joey's. I know that merchandise is killing it.
Yeah,
Joey.
Jesus.
Dude, I laughed all night at that. I was laughing so hard. I was like, people were asking me, dude, that Joey Shakes is really like doing this stuff with all these wives.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Oh, that's hilarious.
Jordan Davis needs a big year. Like he really needs a big year this year.
Yeah.
So
Stevie Johnson says, Philly, which starting defensive line is better, 90s or this year's? I still have to say 90s. I mean, I know we had 70 sacks this year. I know it, but if they threw as much back then as they do now, those guys would have had the record. You're talking about, Reggie White, top defensive players ever to play. I believe Clyde Simmons could be made an argument for him to be in the Hall of Fame. And then you have Jerome Brown, who was headed to the Hall of Fame before. So I still would say that's the most dominating defensive line I've ever seen. But we were great last year. And the other thing too is it's not just about what you do in 1 year. It's about what you do in consecutive years.
Oh yeah, I mean, you talked about Warren Sapp earlier. Like Sapp only had 3 sacks his rookie year. He didn't do much his rookie year. Like Aaron Donald had 9. Like everybody's different. Like everybody is.
Yeah.
Like you can't base off a first round pick just from 1 year. You just can't.
And people forget. I mean, Reggie was. We're not talking top 10 defensive ends. We're talking top 10 defensive players ever to play. And then Jerome was on the path of, Hall of Fame. And then Clyde Simmons is the forgotten man. Clyde Simmons is a guy that's getting you 19 sacks a year too, and that's your second guy. So I think that I think there's an argument for Clyde Simmons to be in the Hall of Fame. I'd have to do a whole
when you
video
watch like the videos, like even like with Phil Simms and some of these guys, and they're just like, oh man, when they got Jerome Brown and like he had no time to throw the ball, like he was just like, I always had to watch my back every time. It was crazy.
Well, and the thing is back then, they didn't throw the ball 40 times a game, 50 times. They threw the ball 25 times a game, 20, you know what I mean? So those guys were putting up numbers, and that's why when Mark Holmes does the, Micah Parsons is as good as Lawrence Taylor, it's like, it's a different era, If you put Lawrence Taylor in today's era where he's going to rush the passer 2 or 3 times more a game than he was then, he's going to have way more sacks. It's just.
This guy, I swear, this guy is. He's been a mess all day today. That's what he gets for putting those stupid pictures up. That's what he gets for putting those stupid pictures up. What happened? Ain't his Wi-Fi. This is the second time he did that already. That's what you get, dude. That's what you get. So you know what?
I don't know what is going on with that. That's the second time it threw me out like that. This time my screen went all like wavy and it just crashed. I don't know. I think my computer is getting. I'm not saying it's the computer, but my computer. I'm getting all these weird alerts now. I think I need a new. It's going to be time to upgrade my computer soon. But anyways, where were we at? I forgot.
I don't know. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You're just talking about the.
Yeah. So I mean, I still think that defensive line was just the most dominating defensive line, I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, we have Derek Barnett. Shout out to Joel Omeg.
Oh God, why do you remind me?
I keep forgetting he's still here. It's crazy. Like,
isn't it great? Like it's a wonderful thing, and then you remember, and it's like your heart drops. It's like, oh, come on.
Him getting re-signed was the best moment. Like,
he's not going to make it on this team, right? I mean, he's not going to make. How's he going to make this team?
If he can at least, I don't know. Like, is he going to get a sack this year? Like, if he could get some pressure this year, it'd be nice. But he's missed how much time? I mean,
yeah, I just don't know where's he fit in, and where would you put him depth wise? Like, is he just a backup? I mean, I think he's at least third string at the worst. You know,
100%. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be
so,
what?
Clear history. My history's fine. I'm not scared of my history.
Are you saying
I'm not in a hide?
So you think it's going to be Nolan Smith starting opposite of Reddick, and then it's going to be Sweat Graham, and then it's going to be Barnett and
I mean, I don't see where we need Barnett. You know, I mean, we can't forget we got a lot. We got a lot of guys. Let me pull up the roster here. I mean, we got a lot of guys, especially if you look at like which guys are they going to be looking at as guys that they can use inside and outside? Like, this roster's deep. Remember, we got a lot of players, especially. Remember, we got that kid Street too. He's another one.
Kadavius Street,
you know, I mean, they went out and got him. They got to use him. You know, see, you look at our defensive ends, right? I'm just pulling. They got Barnett, Graham, Teron Jackson, Matt Leo, Janarius Robinson, Josh Sweat. So I guess he would be. I guess he would be the backup to Sweat, right? I guess.
the Eagles signed Teron Jackson back because we drafted him in from Penn State, right? Like in the sixth round.
It's interesting. It's interesting because they got Kentavious Street listed as defensive line, so they have defensive end, defensive line, then defensive tackle, and then you have tackles are Carter, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Noah Ellis, Moro Ajomo, Marlon Tuiapalupu, Milton Williams. You know, so I mean, dude, we got a lot of defensive tackles too.
Yeah,
I would rather keep the extra defensive tackle and let Derek Barnett go.
I would rather keep an extra defensive. I would rather keep an extra defensive tackle than keep an extra defensive.
It looks like Street. It looks like Street is going to be both. Looks like he can play defensive end because they're listed him as a defensive line, not a defensive end. So he's the only one listed as a DL. Not DE or DT. So that's kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see with Derek Barnett. Maybe he'll come in and get 20 sacks. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I would put Street over Barnett too. So I mean, it'll be interesting. Going to be very interesting. You know. So schedule comes out, I think, next week, and then it's going to slow up, dude. Well, we got post June 1st, right? That's always a big day.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know who's going to. Howie has done a great job with getting guys late, around that time. So I expect the Eagles to be active. I think we have a good two impactful moves left. I'm not saying like game change, but like I think there's still two moves that are going to affect this team coming. I really do.
Agree. I can agree. Because you could always add depth guys. You can always add. I mean, there's always guys you could.
I mean, you remember 2017 in June we added LeGarrette Blount. Look how much he meant to us.
Yeah.
Last year, late May, early June, I can't remember which was, but we got Bradbury. So we always seem to get these guys, and then of course they traded for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, like right before camp. So. I expect the Eagles. I expect them to stay active, man. I think we're $13 million under cap right now, and that's what we'll be once all their guys sign. Not only that, dude, we already got Jalen Carter signed. I mean, that's amazing.
I mean, that was quick too. I thought that was really quick. And the first ones.
Yeah. So I mean, right now the Eagles we are just killing on all levels. And I think Howie just needs to keep striking while the iron's hot, dude, because it seems like everything he does just goes our way.
I think they still have like 13 million in cap space right now. I think that's the number right now. I think they still have like pretty good money. And I know we're not into next year, into 24 yet, but I mean, it's between, the players that can restructure next year is like about, maybe 3 or 4 players that can restructure. Obviously it was funny because I watched that there was a video on the quarterback hits like the next 2 years. And it's like, everyone is complaining about the Jalen Hurts contract to a point where it's like, oh, it's a backloaded deal. And I'm like, they might re-sign him after 26. Like they might actually.
Yeah. From what I was reading is that's the plan. I think it was 2027.
27. Yeah.
You when you get to that point, you tear up the contract and you
Mm-hmm.
renegotiate it, and that's the way they set it up. So you got this 4 or 5 year window, and then you renegotiate it. You probably take that money you owe him, and you make it all signing bonus or upfront money. But I mean, the Eagles are set. It's unbelievable. The position this team is in the next 4 or 5 years is ridiculous. I mean, I like the way this roster is constructed more than I like the way it was constructed last year, because you have more young guys and guys that are not going to be here just 1 year. I mean, if you look at all the guys, they're not going to be gone after 1 year. Maybe DeAndre Swift and Penny, the running, but I think we're better constructed.
If the Eagles didn't have a good culture either, I don't think half of these guys, like we were looking for, guys resigning. Like I think half these guys wouldn't even resign. Like look at the loyalty you got. I mean, these Fletcher Cox comes back for $10 million this year. We could have got paid maybe 13, 14 mil. I mean, Bradbury comes back, could have got paid. He could have got paid at 14, 15 million for 12, 13. It's crazy, dude.
And it probably would have been to the 49ers. And then Deebo Samuel would talk about what a great great corner he is. Gigi says, young guns are here to stay. They are. They're here to stay. I mean, they really are. This is a dangerous, dangerous team, man. I cannot wait for the season. I can't wait to see the schedule. I hope you're right, though. I hope we don't play Christmas Eve or Christmas. Play that Saturday before Christmas Eve. And that's my only thing. I don't want to play Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and I don't want to play on Thanksgiving. Those are the days I don't feel like playing.
Definitely not.
Last year, I felt like it made my whole Christmas Eve day kind of like cut it in half. It was like I got done and I had to do my post game. It was like, dude, it was like dark out, and I'm just starting to drink eggnog. I'm like, look, I should have been like 5-6 eggnogs deep by now.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Bradbury said he came back because of Desai. I thought did they sign him before they hired Desai?
No, it was after.
It was after?
Yeah.
Now,
he talked to Desai on like how he's gonna be used, and I don't think that was the main reason. I think it was part of it, but I think part of it was I think he really wanted to come back because Bradbury hasn't really found a home, or at least a group of guys, or at least a franchise that really values him. Like even being the number 2 corner. I mean, look what I didn't know what he was gonna do when we signed him. I was excited, but then his training camp went really well. I mean, iron sharpens iron. That's why camp is gonna be crazy this year, and the joint practices and a couple of these preseason games we'll be watching. But yeah, man, it's going to be great.
Great. Joe says 500. Joey Sermon got the number 22. Do we get a Sermon sightings here? I think you get a heavy dose of Sermon in the preseason, and then I think he's gone. I at this point I can't predict him to even make this roster. I don't think he makes the roster because I don't think they keep more than 4 running backs. Maybe he comes back if he's practice squad eligible, but that's it.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, because if he wins the job, I gotta tell you, I think Penny would be the odd man out, and I can't see them doing that.
The Penny thing didn't happen because they knew they were going to sign DeAndre Swift. Probably not, because really it was a 2-day span. It was a 2-day span of I think it was like the first day of the draft. There was talks of Ian Rappaport was on TV saying it was literally a 2-day span of there were teams calling. I think it might have been after that pick. I think teams started to call. So I don't know, but I think Penny's here to stay. I don't think they're getting rid of him.
Yeah, so. It could be. Jay Cox says if Brandon Graham has another dominant year, he will be welcomed back to team-friendly deal. I think so. Phil, you're saving money, but Kelsey, Cox, Graham, if they leave, sucks to me. Well, I think Cox is gone after this year. He's going to be there. He's going to be there. He's going to be there, 1 year. I think he goes. Kelsey, it just depends whether he retires or not. And I think they like to keep Graham, if they can.
Unfortunately, guys, we have to let go. Like, it's going to be sooner or later. Like, I think Lane will be the only remaining player left. And I think Kelsey's going to retire. Kelsey's only here because he thinks this offense, this team still has a chance to win a bowl. Because I think if they won the bowl last year, I think he would have called it quits. I think he would have retired. I think that's what would have happened.
Might have. Might have.
So
Rick says Penny is a secret weapon. Swift is going to be the Sproles role. I can't see that. I can't see Swift as like Darren Sproles.
Is Swift the leading back right now? Yeah,
in my opinion, I think Swift's better running back than Penny. Plus, Penny, you can't count on Penny to play a whole season. Now, maybe he does. If he does, then he's a good running back. But I mean, I think you have an opportunity with DeAndre Swift to add a whole nother element to the offense where you literally got a running back who can be a threat out of the backfield on every down. I think that's something they didn't have last year. And if they add that element to, I mean, how many games do you remember live streaming going, geez, if they could run a running back screen, it would be open for 30 yards because there was nobody, especially with them worried about Hurts running.
Yeah. And it takes pressure off Jalen Hurts tremendously. No, there's no doubt. This way you don't have to put the game into his hands all the time. Like it just takes so much pressure off him. And yes, these mobile quarterbacks sometimes they don't have a long span in the NFL because they're getting hit too many times. Like Russell Wilson, surprisingly, like what he did in Seattle, and he still lasted that long. And sometimes Seattle didn't even have a great offensive line. They didn't really put too much into the offensive line because you know what, Russell Wilson could run around. Who cares? Yeah. But I'm kind of tired of I don't mind the wide receiver screens too much, but I think they looked horrible with Devontae Smith. They had some success here and there with it, but not much. I think they made it really obvious they were doing it, and teams read it easily. With Quez Watkins, I thought they did okay with it. I don't know. I feel like use DeAndre Swift. I mean, see, these are between Swift and Penny. These are two guys can cut on the dime like those. That when they get an open space, when they can get to that second level, it's going to be impossible to stop. And you got to worry about Jalen Hurts' legs. Even those read options are going to be crazy. Like teams are going to be on their heels. They're not going to know what to do. It's nuts.
Well, yeah. When I look at it, I believe Swift is the back. I believe Swift.
Yeah.
I believe he has top 5 ability. I believe if he stays healthy and they use him, I believe he will put up better numbers than Miles Sanders has this year. I like him better than I like Penny. I like Penny. It's just a lot of it. My concerns with him are how much can you use a guy when he's always hurt? He's always hurt.
It's true.
So that's what worries me about him. Swift, I look like I don't see him as like I saw somebody put gadget guy or a third down back. I think he's a 3 down back. I think that Swift is a steal of steals. So if he can also remain healthy, I think we're set. But either way, however you look at it, if you get Penny and Swift, both really good guys that are good when they play, if that's your 1-2 tandem, how do you stop it?
In Philly, it's like you're not getting you're an old 30-year-old running back. You're getting a young player, 24 years old. Swift, 20, 24, 25? I don't even know. He's really young.
Yeah.
Rogue
says, Philly 500, don't drink the soda anymore. I only drank this. I only drink this one. But he says, you will lose weight. I'm at 3 pounds. My goal is 2. I was 380. Oh, congratulations, man. That's a great job. Yeah, I'm working on it. But thank you, man. I'll try to remember that. Reverend says, I think Nakobe Dean is going to have a hell of a season. We only got a small sample size last season, but he looked. Yeah, I agree. He is one of those guys that I cannot Probably if you look at all the guys going into training camp that I want to watch, I want to see Nakobe. I can't wait to hear what Nakobe Dean's doing. I'm afraid we're not going to be able to see him till week 1,
Yeah, true.
Philly 495. You mother humping. Philly 495.
Do the
482, bro. 482.
Do GL Zoe Sports Radio's comment.
Where is it? Let me see.
Under the Philly 495.
Okay. Philly 500, why do you always dismiss Kenny Gainwell like he's a non-factor?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I think he stinks. No, I'm just kidding.
team is trash.
No, I like Gainwell. I like Gainwell, but I'm not, based on what we've seen of him so far, I don't feel like I can confidently say he's the number one lead back. He's your guy. I just think you can't use him. They'll never be able to use him like 15 times a game. I don't think you can give him 15 carries a game, 20 carries every week. I don't think he'll last. So I just feel like he's a better rotational back. I like him. That's how I feel. But, I'm open to it. I hope he proves me wrong. I don't care who wins the job. Just somebody be effective and go out and kill it. But, to me, when I look at the backs and I look at Gainwell and I look at Penny, I say, I can't trust Penny and Gainwell. I just don't know if he can be that back. Swift, I look at and I go, man, if this guy has the potential to put it all. Go watch that game versus the Eagles. Like, he has the ability to put it all together. I think he could be a top 5 back in this league.
Yeah, I agree.
So I that's why I like Swift.
I'm not expecting the Eagles to even pay Gainwell when his contract's done with. I'm not even, unless like his stats aren't crazy to where like they can afford to keep him for another year or two or something on an extension. But like they didn't go, they could have afforded Miles Sanders for $6 million a year. They could have did it. I mean, it wasn't hard, but we knew they knew they wanted to change. Number one, Miles wasn't Nick's type of running back, and that's just Nick didn't draft Miles Sanders. That's right. The whole thing with that. So.
Right. And I think Swift is a legitimate dual threat guy. Like I think he's a legitimate dual threat. I don't think Penny is a legitimate dual threat, and I think Gainwell can be, but I just don't know how much you can use him.
I think it's an upgrade over Miles Sanders anyway, because I think Miles Sanders was good, but I think these running backs have more explosiveness when healthy. 100%. I think they're faster, and I think they have more explosiveness. I think they have better vision. I think you have an all-around better running back room than what we had last year.
I agree. Khalil says, just play Boston against the Giants. That's it. Just pay him for the Giants. Nate says, I like Penny more than Swift as a runner, but Swift is dynamic as a pass catcher. Penny will randomly go off for 190 when healthy. When Penny is healthy, he's fantastic. But, like when a guy played 5 games last year, and, I worry about that. I legitimately worry about it. Like we talked so much about running back leading up to the draft. If we were getting a Penny that was legitimately healthy every week, every year, and we knew he was gonna be healthy, I wouldn't have said anything about a running back. I would have said we were good.
But both of those running backs killed us. Both of them. The last time we faced Penny, he ran all over us.
Right. And Swift did too.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot says Swift smaller Ajayi, Penny smaller Blunt, Gainwell smaller Clement, but they all have explosive. They do. I mean, and just imagine if all 3 of them are healthy and you're just rotating those guys in, and you have fourth quarter, you have Penny coming in, and you
tired of the defense fresh. Out. Defense is tired out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I do. I can't wait to see how they use it. But I think if they could use Swift in the passing game, I mean, there are a lot of times where defenses are blitzing and they have a spy on Hurts, and that running back is right there. It's wide open. And if you could just run a screen to the running back, you know what I mean? It'd be big yards. Joe says, Eagles will pay quarterbacks, wide receiver, both lines, D-backs. They don't pay linebackers or running backs. They truly don't value either position as much as other positions. I agree. But I think I don't agree with that is I don't think the Eagles – I'm not one of those believers that the Eagles would never draft a running back in the first round. I think under the right circumstance they would. I think where it comes into effect is they will not pay him a second contract. They don't want to pay a running back a second contract.
Do you think if Bijan went past 8, and do you think the Eagles would have still moved up to get Bijan? Do you think Bijan would have been over Jalen Carter? You think Bijan was over Carter on their board?
No.
I mean,
no. I think Carter, like we talked about, I think Carter was the apple of the Eagles' eye.
Right.
Now, I'll say let's say Carter went to Atlanta. I truly believe that Bijan would have been the pick.
100%.
I truly believe they wanted one of those impactful players. Paris Johnson Jr. was off the board, I believe, at that point in time. Cardinals took him. So I believe Bijan would have been the pick. I don't believe it would have been anybody else. But if it was Carter and Jalen and Carter Bijan, no, they're going to take Carter every time. And they should. Carter he may be the best player in the draft. But we'll never know. But I don't believe they would. I believe that if Carter went, let's say, to Atlanta, I believe Bijan goes to 10. I don't think they would have traded up for Bijan, but I think they would have took him at 10. Yeah,
true.
But it's going to be interesting. Rose says, I think even if Swift does great this year, they're going to sign him to an extension that's teams friendly because he's from Philly and he's going to want to stay. It's obvious. Well, the reports are that they already said to his agent or said that they're willing to work an extension. They may be just trying to get a really good deal before he has a really big year. You know what I mean?
True.
And he apparently may not be interested because listen, he goes and you're DeAndre Swift, and all of a sudden you're going to play with the Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Hurts, that offense and that offensive line. I mean, you're put in a position where you could get a big payday. Yeah,
you just went to a better team, and you just went to a team that just got out of the Super Bowl last year, and a roster that hasn't really obviously added pieces on defense, but that offense. You went to an offense that is really intact. Like besides losing Samalo and Miles Sanders, that were easily replaceable at this point.
Right,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It definitely is.
It's coming home.
Yeah. Joe says, totally agree with you, Philly. Drafting a running back is not high out of it's not a question. They just know that they can get talented running back cheaper than. Oh, totally agree with you there. Totally agree. Fabio Davis super chat goes, didn't we want Sammy Rays before Commanders got him? No.
I mean, just think about it. Like DeAndre Swift is only like 1 million. I don't know. It's like 1 to 2 million against the cap, and they gave up a 25 fourth rounder.
Yeah,
like 2 drafts. Like we have 2. That pick's gonna be out in 2 years. A 25 fourth rounder. It's literally you remember you said we got him for nothing. Like we really did get him for nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Jay says, "Go Lakers." 500's a hater. I hate the Lakers. No doubt about it. Reverend B. says, I watched Tanner McKee highlights. Every play shows the opposing team up by 3 or more scores. Garbage time champ. Why? I think he's purely a developmental project.
It's a camp.
I think they like to bring in these guys and bring them in for camp and then see if they could develop them and then maybe trade them down the road, something like that. That's all.
People were mad at that. Like people were really mad at that.
Yeah, I know. I did my apology video at the end. I made pretend I was complaining about it. I didn't care about it. That picked him. To me, as soon as you trade for DeAndre Swift, it was cigar time. It was like it's over. It don't matter. It don't. To be honest with you, as soon as they took Nolan Smith and they walked out of the draft with Carter and Smith, the draft was over. Everything else was like icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
So it's awesome. I love it, man. But yeah, man, we're an hour and a half in. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Yeah, no, I think we covered the draft. We covered the undrafted free agents. We had rookie mini camp. Nothing much to take from that. It's just obviously they're going in, they're learning they're just learning their basic stuff, and that's really it. I mean, we're gonna have a little bit of we're gonna see the schedule, and then we're gonna go over that, and then really we're gonna have a break. We're gonna have a break. Me and Philly are gonna try to. We're working on some things for at least the dead months. We'll let you guys know, but when times are a little slow, we're gonna try to bring something to you guys. So
yeah, we'll have something. We'll take a little time off or something too. I got vacation coming. I can't wait.
I know, dude.
To the beach. I'm just so ready to go to the beach. But no idea. I need it. Elliot says 500. I love the wink at the end. Imagine McKee becoming great. Yeah. I know that would be funny. I just had to put out there. You never know because, hey, Howie, we love you. Then he does something. Then we're all pissed off again. You know how it goes. It is what it is. But I mean, I guess that's I guess that's really it, guys. I don't know. I don't have really anything else to say. It's going to be an interesting week because we got the schedule coming. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as the draft and the offseason moves so far, and obviously the Eagles aren't done yet. I mean, it's I did a poll. I did a poll on my side. I did a poll saying, what grade would you give the Eagles draft and offseason moves combined so far? So in fourth place, at 1%, people said a C. Third place at 2%, people said a D. At obviously second place for a B grade at 5%, and 91% say it's an A.
Yeah, it's A. The 2% is Dallas Cowboy fans.
That is true.
Hold on.
Time for one more play.
Sorry. I hitting all wrong buttons and shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. But yeah, guys, I want to thank you guys for being here with us tonight. If you haven't, make sure you go sub up Joey, hit that like if you're on my channel, and yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll have another one of these, and we'll see what happens. Should be a very interesting week. Are you got anything else planned? I'll probably have a video out tomorrow or something, but I don't know what yet. I got to think about. Got to see whatever I feel at the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be busy like all day tomorrow, so I'm really I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be busy all day. It's Sunday.
Yeah, I got some houses. I got some house
when the
calls.
husbands take the kids to church, Joey will play. Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Come on, we know. That's why these are coming right off. That was so funny. Yeah, you notice like
it was
every
funny
year
for 3 days.
Draft,
yeah, I guess.
You notice like at the draft every day. Well, it was funny when I was watching Cilio and people were talking about it, and I was like taking pictures, sending it, like they're still talking about Joey. They were telling Cilio, keep your wife away from Joey. It's hilarious. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I guess that's it. We're gonna end it, and we'll let the Cowboy fans take us out. Peace.
Oh, you gotta be motherfucking kidding. You gotta be kidding me. We have no time for one more play.
Look at this motherfucker
running
from
up. What you doing? To get off the field on third down. What was that bullshit? That is not right. Tell him more. He's gotta be better, man. Oh, that's some bullshit. What was that? We had enough time for one more play. We had an opportunity to win that game at the end. But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us. I'm upset, but the brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
Only Cowboys games.
You literally.
The brother screwed us. The brother screwed us.